Anna, it's such an honor to talk to you. I know that your anxiety has been so heightened through the horrors of what you've gone through and are going through in the Tokelau Islands, the ongoing lockdowns for nearly a year, the cruelty of some people towards you just for standing up and saying, no, I don't want this medical procedure in my body and I have a right to say no. The enormous courage that you have, the tremendous faith that's kept you going. And so I thought, if it's okay with you, Anna, I might just begin with a little prayer to the God that each of us, you and I, both believe in, because I just want to settle things on that island of yours. Would that be all right with you, Anna?
Yes, please, Liz.
And I'm just going to ask anybody who's watching this interview, know that our sister Anna, our beautiful fellow Kiwi, is struggling right now. She's in post-traumatic stress, in effect. And so if you have that in you to pray to whatever God you pray to, whatever divine source you believe in, if we can all just shut our eyes and say a prayer for Anna. Dear God, please bless and keep safe Anna and Jipsy and Mahelino, these three brave souls all alone on the main island up in the Tokelaus, who have had the courage to be true to themselves, who have had the moral fiber and moral code to be true to their ancestors and their beliefs and their God. Please settle down everybody on the island and remind them that above all, they, like these three, are children of God, and they need to go back to their God and get on their knees and say sorry for yelling at and hurting and laughing at and being cruel to and locking down this precious family. Please bring them freedom and let them know they are loved by Kiwis throughout New Zealand. They are part of us. They are Kiwi citizens. We love and support them. And may this government see the light, your light, not the darkness they're ruling with, the light of love, and find their way back to some humanity, some goodness, some decency, some morality, and free this beautiful family. Amen. I've never done that before, Anna, in any interview, and I may never do it again, but I just sat and tuned into you before we began, and that's what I was told to do, and that's what I'll always go with. I want to begin with that. You are so loved and so supported here in New Zealand. We know you are in post-traumatic stress. We know that you are struggling. Many people know that you need great help with the trauma that you've just gone through last weekend, which we will put into this cut. Your little brave little Jipsy, she filmed the islanders on Nukunonu, on the main island of Tokelau. She filmed them coming to your house, standing around in a circle, yelling abuse, yelling at you that you will never be out of lockdown, yelling at you horrific put downs. And these are, in effect, family members of yours. And then in one of the videos, we even saw the Prime Minister of Tokelau in a grey shirt. I've seen it, laughing. The cruelty, Anna. How are you coping?
We're doing the best we can.
You beautiful, brave soul.
Just praying. I've been just going through the book of reflections that I received from Danny and Sarah from Australia. It's been helpful. But other than that, we've been talking together as a family, trying to get through the issues on day to day. Let's look at some of those issues. How was that last weekend for you? Were you asleep when they first came? Was the family having breakfast? Set the scene for us. What happened? Just give us an idea of the hell that you are being put through, because this New Zealand government has insisted that everybody in Tokelau have the jab or be locked down for a year when there is zero COVID on the Tokelau Islands. Please take us back to last Saturday. What happened? Last Saturday, the day before, I actually went up the front to do some gardening and to tidy up the section. So I cleaned it up, and then I thought, okay, I need some gravel. We made plans that night that my son will help me collect the gravel from the beachfront. So
what a good
that's
young
what
man.
happened.
He's 27, isn't he, your son?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
He is. So on Saturday morning, because we don't keep the time like all the villagers do because of our lockdown, we tend to have late nights and later mornings to begin
Yes.
our mornings. So I was having a second nap, and my son came in saying, "Oh, Mum, I'm just going to go and get the gravel you wanted." And I said, "Oh, okay, that's good." And then I drifted back to having the nap again. And where I wanted the gravel was where the path is towards the front house and the back house, which we tread most often. So it needed to be just uplifted a bit. And between our boundaries, it's considered public access. So with that public access, we were in legal rights culturally to be getting it from the boundary, from our beachfront. But apparently the neighbour's wife wasn't happy with that. She said that we were trespassing, which we weren't, and she asked why we didn't ask her husband when he was there. And I explained to her that I had just gotten up, we had all just gotten up, and that we were going to get the gravel because it's public area, not her husband's area. And then it escalated from that, where she yelled that we weren't allowed outside. And then I got mad and yelled back with who in her army is going to tell me, because I know the RNZ news report had stated Tino and Ase clearly saying that we weren't restricted for inside, and we hadn't been restricted for inside because they had allowed us to be swimming anyway. So I don't know why she had said what she said, and that got me really upset.
So wait a minute, this woman was in the Radio New Zealand report that so twisted the truth, that we've had 2 or 3 reports on Radio New Zealand that have twisted the truths of what's allowed under customary law, when in fact it hasn't been customary law. We also had other claims by these neighbours about you, that you were able to walk out, that you were free. And I remember that interview, Anna, because the journalist did say, well, how far are they allowed to go? I think it was one at least approximating a journalistic question. And she said, well, they're allowed to go up to the boundary of their garden, which is not freedom at all. So it was clear to anybody listening with an intelligent ear that that Radio New Zealand report and this woman was not telling the truth. So this was that woman, Anna. Is this your neighbour?
No. She that wasn't that woman. It wasn't Asi. It was someone else.
Right.
But to my knowledge, we are allowed to be outside because we are permitted to go swimming.
Yes.
But she didn't like the fact that
ridiculous. It's all of it ridiculous. There shouldn't even be these rules for somebody who has simply said, I don't want the jab. I don't want this injection. This government, Jacinda Ardern, still maintains to this day that all Kiwis, and you are Kiwis in the Tokelaus, that all Kiwis have a choice, that we can say no. And we in New Zealand are not locked down. Why are you being locked down? This is not a traditional part of your customary rights, as far as my research shows. Has this ever been done under customary rights before? Because my research shows, Anna, that you lock criminals down in the Tokelau Islands. You lock them in their houses, but you are not being criminal. You've done nothing wrong.
No.
You've simply said no to a medical procedure, which, do the islanders know that the Pfizer documents that have been released have 9 pages of adverse reactions in the official documents from Pfizer, 9 pages listing the hundreds and hundreds of possible adverse bodily reactions, in other words, ill health, that can come from having this jab. And that's from Pfizer. Are they aware of how dangerous this jab is?
They're not aware. They are absolutely not aware. The jabs could have been stopped well before Ardern's father, Ross, had dropped the poison off on our shores. Matt had accumulated a lot of information, but that was just overlooked. And I'm saddened that they didn't bother to have a look at any of that information. And with the information that is coming out now, they're more concerned about TikTok and every other rubbish that's on, instead of actually finding out the real stuff.
Absolutely.
And our leaders are the ones that are the one narrative with Jacinda Ardern.
Yes. And this is what Jacinda Ardern most hates, that her father is implicated in the rollout of this. And they have tried and tried through mainstream media to deny that Jacinda Ardern or Ross Ardern are part of what is, in effect, potentially a genocide on the Tokelaus. There are so many people we're hearing about here in New Zealand who are having unexplained heart attacks, horrendous tinnitus, neurological problems, skin issues, terrible strokes, blood clotting. There are so many in New Zealand. If you know of people in the Tokelaus with health problems and you're watching this, please take Anna's advice, take my advice, do your research. It's not hard to find. You can go on FreeNZ and listen to some of the doctors we've interviewed on the Odyssey channel, but do your research. Anna, Mahalino, and Jipsy are telling you the truth and standing for truth. So Anna, I just so commend you what you've been doing. Let's go back to Saturday. So you go out and you're human, and thank God you've got a bit of fire in your belly still. And you said to this woman, don't you yell at us like this. We have a right. What happened then?
And so, yeah, it was just going back and forth. And then I noticed that we started getting spectators, and she must have sent her son to go and get the ulu, the PM. I don't know, and then my family Matai turned up and had a word with me, and fortunately I was able to get my side across, and he calmed the situation down and allowed us to continue doing what we were doing to get our gravel. And he suggested that maybe next time if we did need gravel, we go to the other side. That's on another section, but his section, for us to collect the gravel. So we're venturing out a bit more.
And the Prime Minister, when he turned up, what is his name, Anna?
Sio Perez.
And when he turned up, shouldn't he have been the peacemaker? Shouldn't he have been the one saying to the woman in the yellow sari that we see on the beach, screaming at you, abuse, screaming at you, you'll never be out of lockdown. How dare she be so inhumane? How dare she be so sinful and cruel to somebody who's been locked down for 11 months? How could she lose her humanity like that? But shouldn't the Prime Minister have been saying to her, hey, Stop speaking like this. You have no authority to speak like this, and you are wrong, and it's lacking humanity, and it's absolutely cruel. Stop speaking to these people, to Anna and her son, like this. Did he say anything like that?
Not that I know of. I don't know. No. He didn't come to say anything either to us, so it was just left like that.
Well, you may not be able to say this, but I can, looking on. I see a man laughing. I see a man not caring. I see a man also lacking humanity and humanitarian values. And that to me is not a leader. That is not what a leader does. That's not what an elder does who wants respect. Respect is not commanded. This is what Jacinda Ardern's finding out. You have to earn respect as a leader. And almost nobody in New Zealand respects Jacinda Ardern. We know she's lied to us. We know that she's bullied. She's encouraged bullying. People have lost enormous respect for her across New Zealand. So he needs to be aware of that and not follow in her sorry footsteps, her tawdry example. Anna, you are so brave. I bet you were shaken up. You were breaking down after something like that. What was it like?
It's a really bad gut ache.
Oh,
Yeah.
Anna.
And trying to be stronger for the kids, especially. Just didn't want to talk, but we did eventually. And that's when we sat around the table and to find out that Jipsy had actually recorded it.
Ask permission. They can take some kind of ask permission. We don't know. We're stuck in here for good. You're stuck here for life. I don't want to hear you. I don't want to hear you.
That girl of yours, I'm going to talk to her today as well. And she is a leader in the making. She's the opposite. She's the opposite of what I saw in your Prime Minister. She's brave. She's wonderfully intelligent in her approach. Her letters that I've read are deeply caring, articulate, very humanitarian. She sees the truth and she stands up for the truth and she doesn't compromise her moral values. All of that has come from you and Mahalino, I suspect, Anna. You've done an extraordinary job raising Jipsy. You've done an extraordinary job.
Thank you, Liz. We're just ordinary people.
You're far from that. You are going through this time for something that will come to you that is going to be much, much greater. And I believe you're being positioned as leaders of the future, all of you. But you're being asked, what's being asked of you is to have great faith in the face of deep inhumanity. I know from wonderful Tracy, who's a Kiwi who you're in touch with, you and she are great friends. I know from Tracy, you and she cried a lot of the weekend by phone, that you were suffering terribly. What do you think of Tracy? I'd like to sing Tracy's praises because she doesn't get enough praise. She's the one who reached out to me to ask me to come in to talk to you. What do you think of Tracy? Let's honor her.
Yeah. Tracy's a beautiful soul. Came out from nowhere. Didn't know me. Didn't care to know anything about me before she embraced me. We really appreciate and are very blessed to have her come into our life's journey as she has. She's like a sister. Sisters that I've lost and I've gained one. I can't say enough praises for her and her selflessness and this continuous support that she's had from my family, and she doesn't even know us.
That's very moving. She's one
Tracy,
of those.
I love you. Thank you.
Tracy, I love you too. She's one of those extraordinary Kiwis who saw what was wrong and said, I'll do my part to put as much of it that is wrong, I'll put as much as I can to the right, to the good, to the honourable as I can. And that's what she's done. She lives down the line in the North Island, and I know she was going to stand for local politics, but has put that aside because she knows right now this beautiful family on Nukunonu needs her love and support. And I know she regards you as her sister as well. And that's no cliche. She's told me that. There'll be many
It
who
makes
want to
my
reach out.
heart sing, Liz.
You've got such a beautiful smile, Anna. You're like your husband. I said, I knew you were behind the camera. I said last interview, I'm falling in love with Mahalino's smile, but your smile rivals his. There will be many New Zealanders who want to help you, who want to send things to you. Is there an address that we can put up? I know, Anna, when I asked you, you said books of faith, books that will remind you to stay in your faith through this horror, this torture, this absolute inhumanitarian cruelty that you're going through. And Radio New Zealand is part of it because they haven't been helping locked down Kiwis, locked up for 11 months with no trial, no cross-examination, no right to speak, just locked down for not taking a jab. And Radio New Zealand did not side with you, those traitorous journalists. They sided with supposedly the customary rights. I need to clarify, this is not a custom on the island to lock people down for saying no to a medical procedure, is it? This has never been a custom.
No, Liz, I not like this, no.
Explain that. What do you mean not like this?
We haven't done anything wrong but say no to this experimental medical procedure, and mandates aren't law. So they didn't ask, and we don't give our consent. What makes them think that it's serious enough for them to do what they've done to us? And we're blood. Jacinda's not blood. Jacinda's friendship's sake. So my people's chosen friendship over blood. We had nothing to gain from doing this, from trying to save them, from trying to not get any of them jabbed. So I don't know what customary situation they think they've done to do this to us.
They are your blood and you are their blood. Did you know when you stood up and had the courage to say no, did you know that there was evidence that this jab can affect the very DNA that we were lied to, that an mRNA jab doesn't touch the DNA? We were told that, all of us. And the evidence now is coming out very strongly that it affects the DNA, that the Tokelauan DNA for generations into the future could be compromised by what they've done for a mere politician, a woman who was working in a fish and chip shop.
Yes.
And I've met some nice fish and chip shop people, but this is not one. She's an upstart. She's a liar. She has no integrity whatsoever. She lies to New Zealanders. As if you listen to her interviews now, one last weekend on TV1, she cannot answer one question straight. And even Jack Tame, even he was looking like, this woman can't seem to answer one of my questions directly. She is not a woman to look up to.
Yes.
What's your message to her, Anna? I know you have sent one before. Do you want to send one now?
Yeah, I do actually. Jacinda, what you have done to my people, my family, unbelievable. stop your lying, hand yourself into the cop shop, get yourself arrested. Because I'm telling you, when the light suddenly finds you, good luck to you, mate. I'd say other things, but I think we'll keep it on a parent guidance thing.
I'm glad you still have that fire in your belly, Anna, and you must keep it. You mustn't let the tears out. There's a place for tears, but there's a place for fire. And you are a wahine with fire and power inside you, yet to be tapped. And God's fire is all around you. I do see that, looking after you, protecting you, burning off those who would hurt you. You are an extraordinary woman. And yes, she will have a dreadful end to her life for what she has done to us. But how do we help you? That was my question before. How can New Zealanders watching this who want to send you food, who want to send you books, perhaps go to a Christian bookshop and find a most beautiful book? What would you like in the way of books? Or do you prefer novels? What would you like to be sent to you?
There is a book that I remember. It's called Chicken Soup for the Soul.
Oh, yes.
Collection.
Yes.
I remember having one when I was at college, but yeah, I don't know where that is. Yeah, but a book would be nice of that, would be really appreciative. But in saying that, we're not really wanting stuff. We know how hard it is for everybody at this stage, and stuff is just stuff, you know. Yeah, we're truly grateful for everybody's support. Yeah. Prayers, love, but stuff it brings it brings good feelings, but not the feelings that you'd take for a lifetime, if you know what I mean.
I know exactly what you're saying. Would you like help to get off this atoll, to come to New Zealand where we can look after you? Anna, it feels to me as if you need a really good counsellor or someone to help you with the trauma that I can so pick up, even through a poor connection. I can feel the trauma in you, Anna. Would you like a counsellor? Would you like help that way? Would you like to come off the island?
I'd like my family to come off the island.
So if we could get a boat there to get you off, or if we could get you a plane ticket out, you would leave?
My home is here.
Your home is there. Jacinda Ardern, you must stop this. Ross Ardern, you must order the tupalinga, the village elders, to let these people out, to stop this lockdown, to stop this cruelty. All Kiwis, please write to the Prime Minister's office. We'll put the address underneath this video. I beg of you, your comments are wonderful, but I need everybody who watches this, write to the Prime Minister demanding that Anna and Mahelino and Jipsy and their son, whose name I haven't been given permission yet to say, that all of them are released and are able to wander freely and are safe and respected on the islands. And Ross Ardern, as the administrator, as the former administrator who ordered this ghastliness to be unfurled in Tokelau, you must tell the Topalinga, this is to stop. This is on your head, Ross Ardern. This is on your head and your bloodied hands, Jacinda Ardern. This woman is breaking down. And if anything happens to her that is bad, or Mahelino, or Jipsy, or their son, your hands will drip with more blood, Jacinda Ardern. So stop it now. Can you hear me, Anna? Has the connection come back?
Yeah, useless. Thank
So
you.
you were saying that you would like to leave, but that this is your home. Where do you stand on this? Because I'm really worried about you, Anna. I feel as if after 11 months of lockdown, you need support, professional support, loving, counselling support.
It would be nice if my family here on island would be my counsellors and my supporters.
Let's get you to do a message to your blood relatives, to your family. Say to them on this broadcast what you would like to say if they were being respectful and loving family members to their own blood, their flesh and blood, with all of your ancestors looking down on all of you, watching and cheering you and Mahelino and Jipsy on for your courage. What would you say to these other relatives who've gone with this tacky Prime Minister we have in New Zealand, who've supported this illegitimate New Zealand government, who've vastly overreached what we ever gave them the right to do? We never voted them in to do this. No one in New Zealand would have voted for Jacinda Ardern if we knew she would do this to our fellow Kiwis. So call to your relatives under the protection of your ancestors, your tupuna. What would you say to your relatives there on the island, Anna?
My family here on the island, this isn't what our grandparents had taught us, to be looking after each other. I know that because my mum and my dad had spoken to me of the old ways. Even though I grew up in New Zealand, I know the old ways of family, love and caring. What you're doing to me and my family is not that. I want the bond back that Jacinda and her father have broken. They have broken a lot of bonds. I can't believe that they have broken this family customary bond. I love you. I still love you all very much. It's hard for me to have done the stand. I didn't just do it for me and my family. I made the stand for you and your family. In my thoughts, in my words, in my heart, family. Thank you, Liz. That's all I have to say.
Bless you, Anna. You're my sister now too, and I'm always here for you, and I would always be honoured to talk to you, and I will do everything I can to stand for you as well, and I know thousands of Kiwis will too. Thank you for your courage. You inspire all of us, all of us. You are an absolutely beautiful human being, a beautiful soul, and you deserve love and respect. Thank you, Anna.
Thank you. Sorry for being a sukipaha.
You're not at all.